All right, guys, so today we're going to be reviewing the Milwaukee track saw. Now, this is one of my favorite tools. I like this thing a lot. I think it's one of the best on the market for the money. I think the Festool is nice, but it's really quite a bit more expensive when it comes down to this thing. And I think this thing gives you as many options as the Festool, maybe a few different ones, but I think it's right up there in quality. Now, that being said, if you have to buy the saw, the track, and the batteries, this can get a little bit expensive. If you can find a package deal, great. But if you have to buy them all separately, it can get a little bit expensive. So stick around to the end and I'll show you how you can save a little bit of money on this thing and basically get all the same stuff. So let's get into it. Now, if you buy this in a package, a lot of times you might get a pack out storage box. I just think the pack out box is a little bit big, but it does work with the pack out system, which is really nice. Now, when you first get the saw, the first thing you want to do is get that blade installed. The blade is very easy to install. On the back side here, we have a little lever. We're just going to push that up. We're just going to swing that down and push it down, and it's going to lock in place here. I've already got a blade installed, but really easy. Again, you just push that lever, and it'll drop this down, and you can change the blade right there. Then to change the blade, we just need our hex head here. Just going to take this out, which is in the handle, which is nice, and use that down here, loosen this up, change the blade out. Now, it comes with a Milwaukee blade, but I have changed this out. This is a good blade, no question there. Now, on the blade here, we have a riving knife, which is going to help stop us from potentially pinching our work, things like that. I like the fact that this is separate, so this will move. So you can actually do plunge cuts. A lot of the other saws out there, it works together, and this is not separate. So when you do that plunge cut, this kind of gets in the way of that, which is a little bit annoying. It also right here has a splinter guard here. It also comes with another splinter guard here, and that you can just push that in, pop this down, and you can slide that in there, and then adjust that down, and that's going to give you a little bit more options to adjust this depending on your work. Now, another feature that's kind of nice about this is it has a scoring feature. Now, what we first want to do is we set our depth. So let's say we set our depth to 3/4 of an inch. We're going to use this depth. This is going to be for the track saw. These lines would be just if we chose to use it without the track. So what we want to do is set our depth. And you can now see when I plunge this, it goes down to 3/4 of an inch here. But if I slide this up here, we're now engaging that scoring feature. You can now see that it doesn't drop as much. So without it, down to here, with it, we're not cutting all the way through it. So we're just going to score it. Now on the bottom here, we have the ability, of course, to tighten and loosen on the track. This little knob here, when it slides in the track, we're just going to adjust these. So this is going to help tighten and loosen that so that it's not going to come off the track. Here we also have our anti-tip feature, right? So we're going to push this in, twist that, and you'll see that comes out here. That's going to latch into the rail. It stops us from tipping when we're beveling. Now for beveling, we have a knob here. We're just going to loosen this here. And then we also have one on the back, which we're going to loosen. And that's going to allow us to adjust this. Now we have a positive stop at 22.5. We can pull this, twist it out, and that stop's gone. All right, so we can keep it adjusting this. And we can go up to 45 degrees here. Now, if we want to go all the way to 48, we have a little lever right here. Pull that forward, and we can adjust this all the way down to 48, which is kind of nice. Pull that back, set our positive stop, tighten this up, and it won't go anymore. Now, the other thing that's nice about this saw is that when it's in the track here, there's not a lot of movement right here in this. So this is going to stay straight. A lot of times there's some other saws out there that are less expensive. They got a little bit more movement here, so you're not going to get that perfect cut. I like this because this is going to give me a straight cut. As long as it's tight here, it's not going anywhere. We also have a fine-tune adjustment here, which is nice. So if we needed just a little bit under, maybe 3/4, we want a little bit under that, we can adjust this to whatever we need to do by adjusting that stop. So that's really kind of a nice feature as well. So that's kind of nice. Now it is multi-speed. I usually have this on 6, let it run. That's when usually you're going to get the best, cleanest cut. But if you need to adjust the speed down, you can. Dust collection is nice. I mean, I can just put this in here. If I need to adjust this, I can turn it. It will fit tightly in there, so it does reduce down in there. So if you got an over the top, you can go over the top, or you got a little reducer inside of there, put that in and it'll be tight. So dust collection is good. Now for dust collection, it does also come with a bag. If you're going somewhere, this will fit right over the top and you still have dust collection. Of course, it's not going to be as good as the vacuum, but it still works. So if you're at a job site and you want to use this, that'll work. It's traveling. Now, from a battery standpoint, if you buy this as a package, you're going to get the M18 high output batteries here that fit down here like this. These are nice. These are 6 amp hour. They've got a lot of power. They're great, but they are not cheap. So if you're buying this separately, yeah, you're going to spend quite a bit for a couple of these batteries. But they are nice. They work great. It's made from an aluminum here. This rail right here is going to be where your anti-tip slides in, and it's going to stop it from tipping over. Down here on the bottom is where you can put your clamps. It works really nice. So this ledge right here is where your anti-tip is going to flip out. Very nice track. It really is. And it does. It slides really nicely on this track. So no complaints about that. And it's 55 inches long. So pretty much if you got a 4x8 sheet of plywood, whatever you got, you're going to be able to cut it. So like I was saying, this is by far, in my opinion, one of the best track saws out there. It's right up there with the Festool. The Festool has a couple of different features that are nice that this one doesn't have. But for the money, I don't think it's worth it. I like this saw. That being said, if you buy this as a package, you can get all this. You can get the track, battery, and the saw for a reasonable price. If you have to buy this separately, you're paying almost $400 for the saw itself. You're paying another $100+ for the rail, and then you're paying a couple $100 for the batteries. So you can get up there pretty high in cost pretty quickly. So another way to do this, because these tracks, depending on the brand you get, they do work together. A couple things I would do is this. Now, if all your tools are Milwaukee, the nice thing is this will work with any M18 battery. You just get a little bit more power out of this one, but this will work with pretty much any M18 battery out there. So you don't necessarily have to buy that. You can save the money there. You're just going to change out your batteries a little bit more often because this does take quite a bit of power. Now for the track, I'm going to go with the Wen. I'm going to get 2 55-inch panels for about $100, which is what I'm going to get one on the Milwaukee. And this saw fits just fine on the Wen, and it slides just fine. Even the anti-tip feature will work, right? So I can turn that and I'm not going to tip attached there. So from a track standpoint, I think you can save a little bit of money on the Wen track, and also you're going to get 2 55-inch pieces versus just one. So I like that. So I would go with the Wen. Now, another area you can save a little money and save some cost is in the battery. These are not cheap batteries. They're nice, they're powerful, but they're not required. You can buy an adapter. Now, I am a DeWalt user. Most of my tools are DeWalt, so I have a DeWalt adapter here, and that just goes on there. Then I can take my DeWalt batteries and I can use them. There are other adapters out there, so it's not limited just to DeWalt. This will work just fine with that. So this will save you a little bit of money. I'm going to link to it in the description. This is a nice option, especially if you're using something else, if you're using DeWalt, if you're using Ryobi, whether you're using Makita, whatever you're using, you can find an adapter that will work, and that will still allow you to get this really nice saw without changing everything. That's the one thing about these. Their batteries are mostly proprietary for any brand you get. So this is a nice option and it'll save you quite a bit of money. Now, some Milwaukee users may not like this at all, but going with the saw, a Wen track, and a battery adapter work great. I use this quite a bit. I've saved pretty much half of the cost of the full kit, and I still get the saw, which is what I want because I really like this saw. I think this is one of the best options out there. So if you're looking to save a little bit of money, these are some good options to do that. Otherwise, great saw. I'll link to everything in the description below, but honestly, this is one of my favorite saws. It's one of my favorite tools I got out there. It's a great way to get concise, consistent cuts over and over again. All right, guys, thanks for watching this review. If you want more, make sure you check out my channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.